They don't make them like him anymore. The hair, the roar, the eyes that could cut through steel. Carles Puyol didn't just defend, he protected, he commanded, he bled for the crest like it was stitched into his skin. No tricks, no Instagram reels, no designer watches, just mud, sweat, and the kind of tackles that made strikers question their career choices. But here's the thing, players like Puyol, warriors, leaders, one-club men, are disappearing, extinct. And the question is why? Football has changed. The game is faster, slicker. The players are younger, richer, and more marketable. It's no longer just about stopping the ball. It's about building a brand, being a global superstar before you've even lifted a trophy. In this world, the Puyols don't survive. Because Puyol wasn't built for PR campaigns. He wasn't built for endorsements. He was built for battle. From the moment he walked into Barcelona's first team in 1999, he became the beating heart of a team that would define an era. 6 La Liga titles, 3 Champions Leagues, a World Cup, a European Championship, and a reputation as one of the most respected captains in football history. But it's not just about the medals. It's about what he represented, a dying breed of captain who could drag a team through hell and still make it outstanding. And in this story, we're going back to the dusty pitches of Catalonia, to the boy with the wild hair who dreamed of saving goals, not scoring them, to the moment he became a legend, and to the reasons football will never see another Puyol again. Northern Catalonia. The population is barely 3,000. It's not the kind of place where football superstars are made. It's a mountain town, quiet and hardworking people. Carles Puyol was born here in April 1978, the son of a farmer and a schoolteacher. Life was simple. School, home, football in the dirt with friends. He wasn't a striker, not at first. He started in goal, throwing himself onto the hard ground like it was grass. But injuries to his shoulders pushed him out of the net. So he moved forward, first as a striker. It didn't last long, because something about defending called to him. It wasn't glory, it was responsibility. And for a kid like Puyol, responsibility was everything. When Barcelona's scouts spotted him, he was raw, unpolished. Not the tallest, not the quickest, but he had something they couldn't teach. Heart. In 1995, he joined La Masia, Barca's famed academy. And here's the thing. Most kids in La Masia dream of becoming the next Guardiola, the next Laudrup. Puyol didn't care. He wanted to be the guy who made sure those stars could shine. In his early days, coaches weren't sure where to put him. Right back, centre back. He played wherever they needed him. And every time, he gave everything. Teammates remember him as the guy who'd go into 50-50 tackles like his life depended on it, even in training. No fear, no hesitation. But what really stood out? He never complained. Not when he was benched, not when he was played out of position. Puyol had one focus, earn the right to wear the shirt. By 1999, Louis van Gaal, then Barcelona's manager, had seen enough. He promoted Puyol to the first team. His debut, a 2-0 win over Real Valladolid. Nothing flashy, just a young man with a lion's mane shutting down every attack. That day, Barcelona fans didn't just see a new player, they saw their future captain. The year is 2000. Barcelona are in chaos. They've just lost Luis Figo to Real Madrid, the most hated transfer in the club's history. The dressing room is fractured. The fans are furious. The team needs a leader. And that's when Puyol steps in. Not with speeches, not with politics, but with tackles that echo around the stadium. Van Gaal moves him permanently to centre-back. It's a gamble. Puyol isn't the tallest or the most technical. But from the first match, you can feel it. This is his natural habitat. He plays like every ball is a personal insult. Every aerial duel, every interception. It's a fight he refuses to lose. By 2001, he's marking Zidane and Ronaldo without blinking. By 2002, he's being called El León de la Pobla, the lion from La Pobla. And here's the thing, he's not the captain yet. But in the eyes of the squad, he already is. There's a story from this time that tells you everything about him. Barcelona are losing, heads are dropping. Puyol sprints 50 meters to make a last-ditch tackle, slides, wins the ball, gets up, and roars at his teammates. That roar isn't anger, it's a reminder. We don't quit. When Frank Rijkaard takes over in 2003, one of his first big decisions is to hand Puyol the armband. From that moment, the role of captain changes. For Puyol, it's not just about shaking hands with referees or lifting trophies. It's about being the first into battle and the last to leave. It's about running more, working harder, taking the hits so others don't have to. You see, modern football has captains who lead in press conferences. Puyol led in the 90th minute when the legs were heavy and the lungs were burning. He didn't care if you were Ronaldinho, Messi, or the last guy off the bench. If you didn't track back, you'd hear about it. And if you got kicked, he was there, always there. In a game against Madrid, Puyol is elbowed in the face, blood everywhere. The physios rush on, ready to take him off. He waves them away, stuffs cotton up his nose, and plays on. That was Puyol's philosophy. If you can walk, you can fight. This was the turning point. The moment Barcelona went from a team with talent to a team with spine. And for the next decade, Puyol would be that spine. 2004. Barcelona are changing. Frank Rijkaard is building something special. Ronaldinho has arrived, smiling, dancing, and making defenders look like training cones. A young Xavi is starting to pull the strings in midfield. And in the academy, a kid named Lionel Messi is terrorizing defenders twice his age. But talent alone doesn't make a dynasty. Talent needs protection. Talent needs order. Talent needs someone to drag it through the mud when the magic fades. That someone was Puyol. You watch the highlights from those years, and you see the goals. Ronaldinho's toe poke against Chelsea.
Ronaldinho, oh, it's a terrific goal! Wonderful, wonderful goal!
Messi's first hat-trick against Real Madrid.
Messi takes everybody on. Messi has got it!
Eto'o's bursts of lightning. But look closer, always. Just a few meters behind, there's a number 5 with hair flying, boots muddy, lungs burning. If Ronaldinho was the show, Puyol was the stage. If Messi was the music, Puyol was the rhythm. There's a famous clip from training. Ronaldinho tries a no-look flick in a defensive drill. It doesn't come off. Puyol doesn't smile. He doesn't clap. He roars. Not because he hates flair, but because he knows there's a time and place for it. For Puyol, training was war. If you didn't respect it, you weren't ready for the weekend. And the crazy thing? Ronaldinho listened. Because even the biggest star in the world knew when Puyol spoke, it meant something. Paris, 2006, Champions League final against Arsenal. Barcelona are favourites, but in the 18th minute, Jens Lehmann takes down Samuel Eto'o. Arsenal are down to 10 men, but they score first. The pressure is suffocating. In that moment, most captains would panic, but Puyol rallies the team, keeps them calm, keeps them disciplined. Second half, Eto'o equalises. Galletti wins it. Barcelona lift their second European Cup. The cameras focus on Ronaldinho and Eto'o celebrating. But watch the footage again. Puyol's the one lifting the trophy first, not for himself, for the badge. By 2008, Messi is becoming the face of Barcelona. He's young, quiet, still finding his voice. Puyol takes him under his wing, not with speeches, with an example. First in training, last to leave. Every sprint, every duel, all in. Messi later says, "Puyol taught me that talent wins games, but character wins everything else." But behind the glory, something else is brewing. Football is changing. Money is flooding in. Dressing rooms are getting bigger egos, bigger contracts, bigger distractions. And the kind of player Puyol represents is starting to feel like an endangered species. Pep Guardiola takes over as Barcelona's manager. The world doesn't know it yet, but this is the dawn of something historic. Tiki-taka is about to become football's poetry. Xavi, Iniesta, Messi, weaving patterns so perfect they could be framed in a museum. But here's the truth no one talks about. Tiki-taka didn't work because of just the artists. It worked because there was a warrior guarding the canvas. That warrior was Puyol. Pep was obsessed with control, possession, angles, and passing lanes. But he also knew that sometimes control isn't enough. Sometimes you need chaos, controlled chaos. Puyol was that chaos, sliding across the grass to save a ball on the touchline, flying into a tackle that shook the Camp Nou stands, winning headers against strikers taller, heavier, and supposedly stronger. And Pep trusted him with more than just defending. He made Puyol the enforcer of standards. If a player skipped pressing in the 89th minute, Puyol would be in their face. If training tempo dropped, Puyol's roar would bring it back up. Champions League final, Barcelona versus Manchester United. United have Cristiano Ronaldo, Wayne Rooney, and a midfield built to bully. From the first whistle, Ronaldo tries to rattle Barcelona. He barges into Piqué, he throws shoulders into Messi, and then he meets Puyol. In the 23rd minute, Ronaldo drives into the box. Puyol doesn't dive in recklessly. He waits, and then times the tackle so perfectly that Ronaldo barely knows what hit him. From that moment, United's threat fades. Barcelona win 2-0. The football world bows to Pep's tiki-taka. But ask anyone in that dressing room, they'll tell you. Without Puyol's fire, the orchestra might never have played its perfect song. After the match, the headlines were all about Messi's header, Xavi's passes, Pep's genius. Puyol? He stayed in the background, handing the trophy to teammates, hugging the kit men, the physios, the staff. That was him. First into battle, last in the spotlight. Between 2009 and 2011, Barcelona played football from another planet. But they also played more games than most teams could survive. And every time their legs got heavy, Puyol found a way to push them. A block here, a goal line clearance there. Little moments that didn't make highlight reels, but won matches. In the 2011 Champions League final at Wembley, Barca destroyed Manchester United again. Messi, Xavi, Iniesta ran the show. But in the 88th minute, with the game won, Pep makes a change. Eric Abidal, who had battled back from cancer that season, comes on as captain. Puyol, the real captain, hands him the armband and tells him to lift the trophy. That's leadership. That's why he's different. By now, Barcelona are on top of the world, but football's evolution is speeding up. Money, media, social media, and the old-school warrior is being pushed closer to extinction. By 2010, Carles Puyol wasn't just Barcelona's captain. He's Spain's backbone. Spain had been the eternal underachievers, brilliant in qualifiers, broken in tournaments. That changed in 2008. Luis Aragonés built a team that mixed artistry with grit, Xavi and Iniesta painting the game, Torres and Villa scoring the goals. And behind them, the same lion that guarded Barcelona. In Euro 2008, Puyol wasn't the flashiest defender, but he was the one throwing his body in front of every shot, the one yelling orders, organizing the line, making sure nobody switched off. Spain won their first major trophy in 44 years. Puyol lifted it with a quiet smile, but his eyes said it all. This is just the beginning. The World Cup final in Johannesburg is remembered for Andres Iniesta's winning goal, but Spain might never have reached that night without Puyol's moment of destiny. Semi-final. Spain versus Germany. The Germans are young, fast, and fearless. Ozil, Müller, Klose. They're pressing Spain like no one else had dared. But in the 73rd minute, Spain win a corner. Xavi steps up to take it. Puyol makes his run from deep. Not a gentle jog. A sprint like a man possessed. He leaps. Time freezes. Bang.
It's Puyol!
The header thunders into the net.
And it's the man from the back!
Casillas is screaming. Xavi is punching the air. Puyol just turns and roars. Because that's what lions do when they've just dragged their pride to safety. Spain hold on. They win the final. Puyol becomes a World Cup winner. Back in Spain, there's no rest. The rivalry between Barcelona and Real Madrid is at boiling point. And when Jose Mourinho arrives in 2010, it turns into a cold war. El Clásicos become battles, red cards, fights. Every tackle feels like it carries the weight of history. And in the middle of it all, Puyol. In one game at the Bernabeu, Angel Di Maria bursts down the wing. Puyol, already 32, sprints after him. It's not about pace, it's about will. He stretches, blocks the cross, slides out of play, and gets up before Di Maria even realizes he's lost the ball. That's Puyol, never beaten until the final whistle blows. But the human body has limits. Years of throwing himself into challenges, playing through pain, and refusing rest start to take their toll. Knee problems, elbow dislocations, hamstring tears. He misses more and more games. And here's where you see his character again. Even injured, he travels with the team. He sits on the bench, urging them on, talking to younger defenders like Gerard Piqué, teaching them the dark arts of the game. Because for Puyol, leadership doesn't end when you stop playing. By 2012, Spain have won 3 tournaments in a row. Euro 2008, World Cup 2010, Euro 2012. Barcelona have conquered Europe twice under Guardiola. Puyol has won everything, but the game around him is changing faster than ever. By 2013, Puyol's body is running on grit and stubbornness. The hair is still wild. The roar is still there. But every sprint feels heavier. Every collision leaves a mark that takes longer to fade. He's had knee surgery, then another, then another. His elbow dislocated so badly in 2012 against Benfica that even his own teammates turned away. 2 weeks later, he's back in training. That's Puyol. But no matter how much he fights, the minutes on the pitch are slipping away. Matches that used to be his battlefield are now fought by others. And in 2014, he knows it's time. Barcelona calls a press conference. Puyol sits down, voice steady, eyes damp. I will end my career at the end of this season. I can't give 100% anymore. And if I can't give everything, I can't be here. He doesn't talk about the medals. He talks about the people, the kit men, the physios, the fans. When the final whistle of his last game blows, the Camp Nou rises. Not in polite applause, but in the kind of roar reserved for kings. Here's the thing. Football isn't built for Puyols anymore. The sport has become faster, more technical, more global. Centre-backs are judged on how well they pass, not how well they bleed for the team. Captains are brands. Leaders are hashtags. The modern academy system polishes players into perfect technical machines, but shaves off the rough edges that make warriors. And then there's loyalty. Puyol spent his entire career at one club. In an age of agents, buyout clauses, and mega contracts, that kind of devotion is almost extinct. Ask Messi, ask Xavi, ask Iniesta. They'll all tell you the same thing. Without Puyol, the trophies mean less, because he wasn't just a defender, he was the standard, a standard of commitment, of humility, of doing the dirty work so others could shine. When he retired, Barcelona lost more than a captain. Football lost a species. The day Carles Puyol walked out of the Camp Nou tunnel for the last time, there was no grand farewell tour, no choreographed social media campaign. Just a man, his armband, and the weight of 15 years in the shirt. In that last match, every tackle, every header, every clap to the fans felt heavier. The crowd sang his name, not in celebration of a goal, but in gratitude for a career built on sacrifice. When the whistle blew, he didn't raise his hands to the sky. He hugged each teammate. He looked up to the stands, almost shy, like the applause wasn't really for him. And then, the Lion walked away. Barcelona moved on. Football moved on. High defensive lines, ball-playing centre-backs, Instagram-ready celebrations. The game evolved. Maybe for the better, maybe not. But something was lost. That raw, unfiltered grit. That willingness to put your face in front of a 90-mile-per-hour shot just to save a goal. That sense that a captain's job wasn't to be liked. It was to be followed. You can measure the game in passes, goals, possession, but you can't measure heart. And heart was what Puyol gave every single minute, in every single match. Today, we still have great defenders. But how many would play through torn knees just to be on the pitch? How many would hand the trophy to someone else because they thought it meant more? Players like Carles Puyol don't fade away. They vanish, because football no longer breeds them. Maybe one day, we'll see another. Maybe somewhere, in a small mountain town, a kid with wild hair is playing in the dirt, dreaming not of scoring goals, but of stopping them. Until then, Puyol's roar lives only in memory. The lion is gone, and the jungle feels quieter.